Welcome to this special edition of the MeidasTouch podcast. I'm Ben Meiselas, and it is my honor to talk to you about the No Kings protests across the United States that will be taking place tomorrow, October 18th. At least 2,600 separate No Kings events are being planned across the United States, set to take place tomorrow. 90% of people living in the United States live 1 hour or less away from one of those 2,600 No Kings events. This will be the single biggest mass mobilization, peaceful protest in the history of the United States. And I can't wait to be a part of these No Kings protests with you, these peaceful protests to stand up to this authoritarian Trump regime. In a little bit, I'm going to bring in Ezra Levin, one of the leaders of an organization called Indivisible, which has been working to plan the No Kings protest tomorrow, October 18th. They work to, of course, plan the previous No Kings protest and other major mass mobilizations during this Trump regime. They and other groups like 5051, Move On, and countless other groups and chapters within these groups have been working so hard behind the scenes. And this has been a people-powered movement. And so though we talk sometimes about the leaders of these organizations, they are making sure that the organizational structures are there, that the education is there. But this is a movement that is fueled by the people who are fed up with this authoritarian regime taking away our rights. Before I bring in Ezra Levin, I want to share with you, of course, the MAGA Republicans, everybody from Donald Trump to MAGA Mike Johnson, MAGA Republican senators, MAGA Republican Congress members. They are trying to trash and defame the No Kings protest. They're calling it a hate rally, a pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas rally, and other very despicable names. They are scared. Authoritarian regimes are scared of people-powered, peaceful, mass mobilizations like this because they rely on nihilism. They rely on intimidation and trying to shut down people's joy and people's power in favor of their authoritarian dear leader. In this case, it's Donald Trump. So tomorrow, we the people take back the power. We the people peacefully protest. Let me just show you, though, quickly, before bringing in my friend Ezra, let me show you what went down. Here's a supercut we made at the MeidasTouch Network showing you what some of these MAGA Republicans have been saying. Play this clip.
This No Kings rally this weekend, that's the blue hair anthropomorphic, experiment that's going to happen up here in Washington, D.C.
I encourage you to watch. We call it the Hate America rally that'll happen Saturday. Let's see who shows up for that. I bet you see pro-Hamas supporters. I bet you see Antifa types. I bet you see the Marxists in full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic.
This crazy No Kings rally this weekend, which is going to be the farthest left, the hardest core, the most unhinged in the Democratic Party, which is, a big title. And, no kings equal no paychecks.
No kings equal no paychecks.
Clearly, the Democrat Party of today is not your grandfather's Democrat Party. They care about one thing and one thing only: appeasing the radical pro-terrorist wing of their party.
The same crowd planning to protest at their I Hate America rally this weekend.
Well, one of the things that I hope Cass Patel and Pam Bondi are looking into is, the funding of these groups. Who pays for the buses to bus a lot of these folks in, who pays for the trucks that have riot gear that they hand out to the peaceful protesters. Again, I hope they are peaceful here, the No Kings protest, whatever. But again, it's absurd.
We shouldn't have to wait until the Hate America rally this weekend or whatever it is.
And then yesterday, Congresswoman Lisa McClain said the following. Let's play it.
And now they're gearing up for their I Hate America rally this weekend. A rally where they'll cheer for chaos instead of country. So take note of what goes on at that rally. take note of how they put Americans first, really. Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to bring in one of the leaders of Indivisible, one of the groups that's helping to organize No Kings, along with Move On, 5051, lots of other unions, lots of other grassroots groups, lots of local leaders within these groups who are all working together. I want to bring in Ezra Levin. Ezra, it's good to see you. I always make a point that back in the day, when I was organizing, in Bakersfield and Kern County, there are people who are helping lead, but it's really everybody involved. And, I think it's always an important point for me to make. And I know you'll make it. I just want to say that from the outset.
Good. I'm glad you did. That is right. I mean, this is such a group effort. You do not get the single largest peaceful protest in modern American history because I called for it or because Indivisible is organizing. There are more than 200 organizations that are helping lead this. But I think even more importantly, there are thousands of people on the ground who are normal, everyday Americans who said, wow, I guess I got to put together a No Kings protest. That's how you get to 2,600 protests. That's how it works.
So tell us the events tomorrow. We expect millions of people across the country. Give us the latest. What do you want people to know as they head into tomorrow and they're looking at you and someone says, Ezra, what can you tell us about what we can expect tomorrow? What should we do?
Well, let's give some historical context. The single largest protest of the first Trump era was this incredible, joyful, and empowering protest. Families belong together. It was against the family separation policy. This was in 2018. The size of it was comparable to the Women's March, about 750 events nationwide. We have more than 2,600 on Saturday. So we are not just doubling. We are not just tripling. We are nearly quadrupling the largest single day protest from the first Trump era. So what should you expect to see on Saturday? You should expect to see history. You should expect to see people in every nook and cranny of this country. Yeah, look, we're going to be in Chicago. We'll be in New York. We'll be in LA. But we're in the small rural areas. We're in the tiny little towns. Jenner, California, population 122, has a No Kings Day protest. Homer, Alaska, has a No Kings Day protest. In the little town that I grew up in, outside of in Central Texas, between San Antonio and Austin, there are 3 in the county. As you said, Ben, there's a No Kings protest nearby, almost certainly for the vast majority of Americans. And this is, as you said, a joyful celebration of our First Amendment rights. That is what we are doing there. We are out there demonstrating that we're not scared of an authoritarian regime that wants to tell us to go home and stay afraid. We are showing up because we understand that when your First Amendment rights are under attack, you got 2 choices. You can stay home and give up those rights, or you can show up and exercise them. We intend to show up to exercise them with a mass peaceful demonstration, because if there's one thing Americans can agree on, it's that we don't do kings in this country. And there are going to be millions upon millions of people out on Saturday to say exactly that.
Seems like Donald Trump and his MAGA sycophants are trying to intimidate people. What do you make of those efforts?
I saw all those clips from those Republicans, and I will tell you, Ben, just to be 100% clear for everybody here, I did not pay one dime to any Republican to publicize the No Kings protest. They're talking about it all by themselves because they're scared. They are scared of mass, peaceful people power. And this is true in any authoritarian regime around the world. This is the one thing that's an actual threat, because authoritarian regimes depend on people feeling alone and feeling isolated. Our enemy here is not Trump. It's not the regime. It's not Republicans. It's not weak-kneed Democrats who refuse to unify and fight back. Those are opponents sometimes. That's not the enemy. The enemy is cynicism and nihilism, fatalism, and fear. The sense that we don't have anything that we can do, that we've got to roll over. We're attacking that enemy head on Saturday. We are showing up in force. I don't care what the Republicans are saying. We have these constitutional rights. We're not going to give them up. They can smear us all they want. These are our First Amendment rights, and we're showing up.
And look, they've went after Indivisible directly. I mean, they've gone after you directly. I mean, whether it's Fox or the highest people in the Trump regime, like literally mentioning your name, your group, singling, you out. So I guess people watching, how do you personally handle them? What
do they say? First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. We're one step from winning, Ben. That's how I view this. Less than a week after the election, Lee and I, we left the kids with my mom. We wrote a new Indivisible guide that firmly planted Indivisible on the fight back faction side of the Democratic coalition. That's what we wanted to see, a unified opposition party. We were under no illusion of what this regime was going to bring. We had read Project 2025. We knew what was coming. There were two options. Either we were going to be irrelevant and they weren't going to come at us, or we were going to organize a whole bunch. They were going to fear what we were doing. They were going to come at us. I don't like that this is happening. I don't like that in order to organize peacefully in America, you have to deal with this shit from the regime. And also, this is the cost of doing business if you want to save democracy right now.
What should people bring? Posters, signs, just show up? Like, what are the logistics? If you're just someone who's never been to a protest before, what do you do?
Yeah, bring some water, bring some friends, bring a fun sign, bring some music to pump you up, get ready some chants, get ready some songs. If you've not been to a protest before, awesome. You are welcome here. We need you. And there are going to be millions like you who didn't show up at No Kings One, who didn't show up at Hands Off. That's great. That's a sign of a healthy movement that is growing, that is maturing, and that is pulling more people in. I think the number one thing I would want you to bring is bring your joy to this protest. Don't let them take your power. Don't let them take your joy. They want you to be afraid. Don't let them. Don't give that to them. Bring some friends and have a good time, because yes, we are fighting the authoritarians. Yes, we're doing the serious work of trying to save American democracy. But fundamentally, what are we doing? We're coming together with friends, family, community members to say, these are our rights and we're standing up for them. That's a joyous event. There's a joyous event, and embrace that. It's going to be the place to be.
So somebody watching now, where do they find out where the closest No Kings protest is to them? As I mentioned at the outset, 90% of the country is 1 hour away, and probably that number is probably even closer to 30 minutes away, 90%. So how do they find out where they go?
If you haven't heard about it already, it's probably in the air somewhere. You've seen a poster somewhere nearby. But if you haven't seen that, go to nokings.org, put it in your zip code, or look at the map, find one nearby, and just show up. It's going to be great.
All right. Final message as we conclude this. No Kings is tomorrow. What do you want the big takeaway to be for everybody who's watching this?
I want the big takeaway to be that there are more of us than there are of them, and we're going to win. That this era of authoritarian breakthrough is temporary, and what we are ushering in is an era where democracy reasserts itself. There's an era of accountability and reform. So all these leaders and all these institutions looking at this current moment and considering capitulating, they should factor in that millions upon millions of Americans aren't going to stand for that. And we're going to usher in this new era, and they got to be on the right side of history.
Well, I'll be at one of the No Kings protests. You'll be at them. All of Indivisible is going to be working really hard behind the scenes and in front of the scenes to make this work. There's so many other organizers, all the great people working at 5051, at Move On, and then all the other unions and groups where there's so many names you could see on the website. And just one more time, where could people go in terms of the website?
Go to nokings.org and then show up wherever the nearest protest is near you.
There you have it, everybody. Ezra Levin from Indivisible. Thanks, Ezra.
Thank you, Ben.
Then everybody hit subscribe here. Let's get to 6 million, and I'll see you at No Kings tomorrow.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.